All right, Stokastic, here we go. It's your old pal EMAC coming to you as a special surprise. Greg Ehrenberg, yeah, he said, you know what, I'm going to take the day off. I work way too much. So I am joining Eric Lindquist here today. Team Eric is here. We are back. We are ready to go. Mr. Lindquist, it's been like 3 weeks maybe since I chatted with you. How are you been, sir?
It's been a while. I'm doing well. And yeah, I like betting. Betting is really good. DFS, I feel like I've kind of gotten my money in good the last couple of days and it just hasn't panned out for me. But I feel I feel good about this slate of Minnesota. If that weather can just hold off that Greg's obviously calling in for here. New Jersey's a little bit away here from your main Manhattan, from the Bronx. I gotta think, though, we're going to be paying attention to that for the next hour. I mean, the Yankees and the Mets, both of them, auspicious weather. We haven't gotten like a small slate like this because, I mean, if you get both of those games removed, four of your, like four teams on a smaller slate like this, it's a huge edge if people are still playing it or being nonchalant with their lineups. So I don't know what else to say other than hold on to your butts.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. For those not paying attention today, FanDuel going with the 635 and 640 games. DraftKings is not. So we will go through the DraftKings lock here, but I wanted to call that out for everybody because that does bring Baltimore into play for weather. Now, looking at weather.com, Weather in Motion, which is what I have done for these two metropolitan areas, it looks like Baltimore should be clearing and not much of an issue, barring a pop-up storm or something that sits over the stadium. Same thing can be said about New York, except with the New York phase, it doesn't look like it's going to clear until 8:30 or 9. Now, that means we're far enough out from the radar window that things could change. They could get worse, or things could continue to dissolve on that time frame. So that's something to pay attention to. Obviously, we will be talking through our strategies as well, but as of an hour prior to first pitch there with the Yankees, I'm keeping everything in my player pool. Let's see. You mentioned DFS. You mentioned betting. You've been on a nice little heater there with your tails package. Tell the loyal viewers how they can get a piece of your tail.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, we're already just going straight to innuendo 4 minutes in. This is going to be a bumpy hour, that's for sure. Emphasis on the bump. But
bump.
I mean, I've had multiple sweeps now, and that includes like a couple of these home runs that get thrown in. It all started with your Seattle Mariners with the Randy Arozarena, Julio Rodriguez double that I put down where I was like, I couldn't choose between the two. They're both massively positive EV for me. So I ended up betting both. And this was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And since then, it's just been like an inferno. And then today, every play I added won. Every single play that I decided to, fire up last second won. Every single thing from the video last night won. Marte goes yard with 2 outs in the 9th, my only home run play of the morning window. I mean, you can't ask for a whole lot more than that. That said, nobody cares about what you did. People care about what you're going to do. And so just stand on high alert for that. And looking forward to a slate like this. But again, the weather is very auspicious everywhere. Baltimore for the FanDuel people, because that's a very important game. Trevor Rogers, your most expensive pitcher. And then you're going to get a limited Logan Gilbert. So like this early game, I think it's about the most hyper efficient game you can possibly get to. Logan Gilbert has like a hard cap on what that ceiling is. There's like 15 Ks, 15 outs. Like for whatever reason, he's just going to be somewhat limited, it looks like, going forward here, as Seattle's just really played themselves into potential 1 seed territory. And I like what they've done with their baseball team. Obviously go out and let's just do win now in an AL that's wide open. AL East is cannibalism and everything else. But I feel like on that slate, Trevor Rogers is the most interesting guy to me at current ownership. And so just to like, in the interest of talking through FanDuel, talking through some of the betting stuff there too, I know he's pulling 0 ownership, like sub 1% ownership, but Trevor Rogers, 10-6. Logan Gilbert's pulling all the ownership, and I don't really disagree because of what his floor is, but his ceiling is not as high as what it would be on a normal outing unless he is very hyper efficient through 5.
All right. Yeah, I was just looking at, because this morning I was looking at the game logs here for Logan Gilbert. And as a Mariners fan, to me, this feels a little like the 95 season. I'm sure a lot of chat wasn't around during the 95 season, but that was the refuse to lose season. First year of the wild card, and there was only one. And that was Ken Griffey Jr., Edgar Martinez, Tino Martinez, Randy Johnson, those luminaries. They added a couple people at the All-Star break, and at the trade deadline. That feels like what they've done this year. So, yeah, few and far between these runs. So, as a Mariners fan, I am clearly excited here. Excuse me. So, when you mentioned that pitch cap, it's more that they're not really going to push him. And I agree, it's kind of 5 innings, low 90s pitches. If he is not laboring, they'll let him go into the 6th. Everybody needs to remember that he had a sore forearm, which, of course, oftentimes is the precursor telltale sign of impending Tommy John surgery. So the Mariners lucked out, and he missed, I forget, it was about 6 weeks or so. From the end of April till the middle part of June. So I think that is a fair statement. You and I had talked previously on one of the last shows we did, and it looked like his trajectory was going up. And I'm like, I don't think they're gonna push him too much, because they're playing with house money right now. So while he is a really, really good pitcher, we need to understand we're not going to see that 105 pitches from him. That's just not going to be in the cards. If we look to the other game that's early on FanDuel here, you have Yuri Perez along with Gavin Williams. Both those guys are carrying a little bit of salary. $8,600 for Perez. He has, been improving. I'm blanking on the young guy that got sent back down for Colorado, but Perez, I think, is the youngest pitcher in the league right now. So even though this is his second season and he missed last year with Tommy John, Gavin Williams, 9,200 on FanDuel. Do we really want to do that against Miami? Miami team carrying a 3.6 implied total. They're pesky, but they're not pushovers. And we've seen at this point in the year, even the White Sox have not really been pushovers. They're not great, but they're not bad. And that's something that I think we want to consider. But anything else you want to hit on for this set of 4 games before we get into the crossover portion of our player?
Twins Yankees delayed due to rain. I think we kind of assumed that was going to be a case. So it doesn't really change anything. It's just we're going to be sitting on pins and needles for the next 45, 50 minutes. We've got a lot of interesting things with New York here, mainly because FanDuel were already locked. And so some people just kind of set it, forget it. Oh man, it's just such a weird weather slate. Hard for me to even dig in. You were talking about Yuri Perez. You talked about a couple of other spots here, but I have Doppler going in one corner. I've got my iPad on weather.com. I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out because it looks abysmal. And Greg, Mr. Workaholic, literally said that he isn't sure if his connection is still going to be there because it's that bad outside. He's a ways from New York, but I took a 25-minute train ride the New Jersey Transit, was out there when I was in New York last August. So I don't know what to make of it. It is a really bad situation there. And they want to get these games in too, because it's the last of the series for everybody.
Atlanta and the Mets play tomorrow.
Oh, Seattle, Baltimore play tomorrow too. Okay. Yes. So here we go. Detroit plays Minnesota though. Atlanta plays the Mets. So the Mets, they could move that to tomorrow, make it a doubleheader.
Right.
But the Yankees one, I'm pretty positive they want to get in, considering Minnesota's got to go back to Target Field tonight.
All right, I'm doing the special bonus here for FanDuel. So here I'm dropping in it's a $2 3 max 100 man. And if you guys win this one, the one I'm putting the link in, there's 30 spots left. If you win this with a Stokastic avatar, tweet at me and I will get you 1 month of MLB Sims or NFL Sims. You got to have the Stokastic avatar. You got to win and you got to tweet me. I'm not going to chase you down, but this is a good way to do it. This contest must fill to run, but with the number of people we have watching, we should easily be able to snap this up. And then you just have 1 in 100 chance Well, maybe 1 in 97 because I have 3 entries in there. That seems pretty easy, doesn't it? That's my gift
like cheating
to you guys.
Seems like cheating.
It does. We've got lightning in my area here. I just got an alert for that. Fun living in Florida. You need to download an app to let you know when lightning's within 5 or 15 miles of you because it happens a lot.
Oh my
God. Good times. Good times. Well, okay.
I decided to run this sim here. We're ready to rock here. Let's dive on in. I'm set.
All right. So let's talk through our pitchers that are crossing over for both of the slates, because that is going to be the most important thing that we look at here, because not everything is going to revolve around that New York game or the New York games. We will hit that again probably in about 15 minutes to let you know where we stand on that just before the FanDuel lock. And then, of course, right up until lock. But now that we know the New York game is in a delay, we'll probably see the Mets follow suit. It's going to be kind of waiting and seeing what that last weather looks like. So everything we say, we're going to try not to repeat it because you already know, but everything is going to be if these games play or if these games don't play. So if we look at the pitching, there's some interesting people at the top here. You've got Hunter Brown, who you've been a big fan of all season. He has done very, very well. He has put up career highs, mostly across the board, faltering just a little bit. It's hard to be perfect for an entire season. So he's slipping out of contention for the American League Cy Young Award, but he's absolutely a top 20 frontline starter. There aren't any questions about that. So he's going to be going against Boston. Boston's been all over the place with their offense. Makes sense. Fair amount of young people. Injuries have had people in and out of the lineup. But basically, if we look at their last 13 games, 5 times they put up 8 or more runs, including a couple double-digit outings. However, 3 times they've fallen shy. They only have 3 runs or fewer. That's the dichotomy you're going to get when you have a young team and in a lot of the spots. They're talented, but finding that consistency is going to be rough. So that's kind of our Hunter Brown phase. After that, we end up with Kevin Gausman going against the Cubs. And then that's in Toronto. And then your Joe Ryan in Yankee Stadium. What do you think of the trio at the top here? That's the crossover trio for us.
Yeah, Hunter Brown, he's my favorite of the grouping. Joe Ryan, I have pitch count concerns going forward. I doubt that we're going to put the pedal to the metal for a guy who is due to make a lot of money. I don't even want to talk about the poll ads right now. We're not going to have that discussion. They make me so mad.
They're not selling the team.
Well, I'm glad they did sell the team at the trade deadline. And now they're not selling the team, which is hilarious. But anyway, I look at Hunter Brown as just the guy that I have no workload concerns. And despite the fact that Boston is, pretty serviceable, 102 WRC plus against righties, right around league average, 179 ISO. That's above league average. I do think this is a great ballpark to just be a right-handed pitcher, but the big difference is Walker Buehler gives up so much righty power that obviously Houston's going to be one of those that I'm going to be kind of finding more one-offs than I am like stacking them at the moment, which is kind of interesting because I've got my tab over on the side here. This is the one that I'm running unencumbered sims. Like you were just looking at exactly what the sims are giving you. I set it at 10% because, if you're playing 20 max, which is kind of what I'm primarily doing today, these are kind of the same numbers and I want to have those filter out the lineups for that. I know most people playing the 150 mini max, the 20 lineup, the 20 max stuff. So throwing it there, but Hunter Brown is just much better than he gets credit for at times. Like I know he's had some blow up starts, but the guy has a 32.3% K rate against lefties. I mean, we're talking opposite handedness north of 30% is elite. So Hunter Brown, no matter how many lefters he gets rolled out against him, it's almost like in benefit to what his upside can be. And then you add in that his home ballpark's about as good as it gets, despite what we've seen from Yordan Alvarez over the years. It's about as good as it gets for eliminating lefty power. It is a cavern out to right. It is a short porch to left. Play to your ballpark. The Houston Astros lineup does. I feel pretty good about Hunter Brown being the guy that absorbs most of that ownership. I don't hate Joe Ryan against the Yankees just purely because there is upside that exists. And then, Kevin Gausman is kind of its own little entity. I think, below that 10K number, but it is very clearly Hunter Brown amongst the expensive guys for me.
All right. I would tend to concur on that one. Missing part of that word there. On FanDuel, how many lineups would you roll out there percentage-wise? Like 30, 40% with Hunter Brown?
Yeah, I'm playing both sides today. I'm playing FanDuel. I wrote into if you guys are in the MLB DFS chat, somebody had asked me what my favorite FanDuel pitchers and stacks were. And considering that locks in 20 minutes, I was like, I might as well fire it off here quick for them, which is what I was doing there on the side. But I love the idea of getting away from Gilbert in tournaments to some extent over on FanDuel, purely because I think he's secure, but like the quality start is a definite question mark as far as like he has to be hyper efficient. And if he does, well, you're probably holding hands with some of the Hunter Brown exposure. And I think Hunter Brown has a higher ceiling in this spot. So I love Hunter Brown for tournaments. He's my favorite GPP target on FanDuel for today. I'm not sure how you feel about that. But you got your stacks and pitchers article every single day. If you guys aren't checking that out over at Stokastic, Emacs putting in that work, Devin, in retirement mode out there in Florida. So want to give him some love for doing such things. And I'm just curious where you land on Hunter Brown, because he's not showing up a ton in the Sims for FanDuel, but on DK, 50% of my lineups, more than happy to make that the case. And then we'll get into the Cam Schlittler stuff.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of asking your take on it, because I was not getting him as much as I thought. He was the featured pitcher across the two sites in the article this morning. I dropped that link early on here in chat. That's free every day on the Stokastic baseball homepage. You can find it if you follow me on Twitter at EMACDFS. And I write up every time I can the early slate along with the main slate. And then if there's a good late slate, I'll do the main slate and the late slate if there's a 3-game or more night slate with thoughts there. So that was one where I'm confused by what I'm seeing. I'm going back to building my 6 single lineups here since I got to get these in 17 minutes. But I did a quick preliminary run on FanDuel, and I was not getting nearly what I thought I would from Hunter Brown there. I figured he'd be 40-50%. He's not. So I may make a couple adjustments because that's kind of where I would like to be, because similar to what you have called out there, I think he has the most favorable workload conditions. Not the best matchup tonight, right? The inconsistent Boston team, but he should Houston, one, he's stretched out. 2, Houston has reinforcements coming here across the board with a lot of their pitchers returning to action. So that's going to help things out because that allows them to move their 4th or 5th guy who they've been limping along with in as long relievers. So I think there's a chance here they either go to a 6-man rotation or they give a little bit more of a workhorse look to for Hunter Brown, because they are trying to keep pace with the Mariners for that American League West title. Just my thought for this particular start. We'll see. Things can change, but I think that's the difference between Hunter Brown and Logan Gilbert. Not on the DraftKings slate, just FanDuel. Who are your discount dandies? Who are the value guys that you are considering? I guess we throw in a Kevin Gausman there. You've got David Peterson going against a disappointing Atlanta squad. Would you even touch Shohei Otani, or would Puppet Lindquist allow Shohei Otani to touch him? These are the things we need to know, Wendy. I want to hear about the Otani of the day. The Otani of the day. Is Puppet Lindquist going to Hawaii with Otani? Is that what's going on here?
No, he's not. He doesn't have $240 million to go fuck around with. That's for sure. But David Peterson must pay for his sins. I do believe that is something that must come to fruition sooner rather than later. Some of his stuff just defies pitching. So he does a great job of getting the ground balls, 54.8% ground ball percentage. He limits power, 0.61 home runs per 9, but then everything else gets wonky. He gives up a lot of walks. He gets no swing and miss. 4.28 expected ERA is a lot higher than you'd see for a guy with like 2.5 WAR at this point in the season. Like, there's so much push and pull going on with his stuff. And from a DFS perspective, his upside is generated on like a FanDuel where he pitches 7 innings and gets 5-6 strikeouts. Like, it's so hard for him to score well in a place where you absolutely need him on DK. Like, the reason you play him is that we would lose Minnesota, New York. We would lose Atlanta, New York. Like we would move both of those games, like, or, I guess, in that case, you don't even have any of them on the board. But like in the event that both of those games are clean, just what is the upside of a 6-game slate and David Peterson finding like a ceiling matchup? It's purely by way of everybody else being terrible. I think he's had like 3 games all season above like 25 fantasy points. I believe that that's the case. 1, 2, 3. I got it on the number just by throwing it out there. But like David Peterson is just not a high ceiling guy. He can be somebody who can be a linchpin when you have a limited number of options. But like, I kind of hate everything about getting to him on this slate. And I refuse to. I just kind of refuse to.
That's written into our contracts for anybody wondering, because Greg Ehrenberg hates David Peterson.
Good. I do too. But I didn't know that he did like that. Normally, like, you can tell me the pitchers, and I think we both know each other's opinions, having done this for like 5 years together now. But yeah, I gotta think that most people who pay attention to analytics and pay attention to like what matters for a pitcher, like David Peterson defies everything about it. Like he gets the ground balls, which generally is something that I really, really like, but the sinker isn't accompanied by anything. There's nothing that is all that appealing about his mix. And location plus is one of those things that if that ever goes away, there's just nothing that's all that good about him other than his ability to limit home runs. Like, congratulations, bro.
I'm just looking. Oh, Otani he's outfielder today on FanDuel. Does DraftKings have him as outfielder or pitcher?
No, he's pitcher. He's not. Anytime he pitches, he's only pitcher. And then we have to deal with the ramifications of that. It just absolutely sucks.
Oh, wait, no. What?
He's not available in the field. You cannot play Otani in the field on DK. He is a pitcher only.
Right. And I'm just looking at FanDuel, and FanDuel has him as an outfielder only.
Correct. But he is only available
starting pitcher with the designation.
Correct.
Yeah,
and he's giga chalk on designation. He should be. He's big.
I always follow these designations, Lindy. The sites do such a good job with those.
Please don't even get into that. We don't have time. Which is wild, because this is an hour show for 8 games, and yet I'm stressed with like everything. I have 2 bets I want to fire off. I've got lineups that I want to rerun in the event that we do have some kind of an issue here with these games popping off. But again, Greg Ehrenberg basically said, I can't go to work today because of how bad the weather is in his area. So like, I'm assuming it's pretty bad, EMAC. Like, we can't just sit here and say that like we expect these games to play clean. I'm seeing people in chat being like, oh, Roth said this and that. And it's like, I get it. Like, you can look at the same things that I can. You were looking at the same stuff that I am, but the radar looks awful. So look at that instead and try to figure out what's going on. This is an interesting one. Cully Poston, $4.99. We appreciate the super chats. Think hard before answering. Am I crazy for liking Otani? Wroblewski as my pitcher combo. Let's talk through that, because Otani can go up to 4 innings now. Wroblewski's the only one who would be eligible for a win in that kind of a situation. And it's a question of like, is it worth it to get to Wroblewski and know that you're getting a 3 to 4 inning hard cap on him, and you'd have to run pretty good still to get yourself the win there? I don't know what to make of it. Obviously, it's nice to have a pitcher come in who's the opposite hand of the starter. So 4 innings of a righty in Otani, followed by a lefty in Wroblewski. Like, that's fun, but man, are you threading a tight needle with that? And, you know, we saw some massive upside from him as a starter, but since he started picking back in way of Emmett Sheehan, his fantasy outputs behind Otani: 9.7, 4.7, 16.15, 9.15, 4.9. I cannot play Wroblewski today in fantasy.
I'm going to agree with that, but if you want to get cute on that late 2-game late slate, put that in the pocket. I like the way we're thinking about it.
Yep.
If we were going to lose those New York games, you're on to something.
Yep.
It's a little tight. Now, if you want to build it and it's like your 10th lineup, I think that's fine. right? You're rolling the dice. You're just going to say, hey, Angels are going to go down. As was pointed out on my Twitter feed, I can't remember. I think it was Michael Campbell was calling everybody fake aces. Boy, it certainly has seemed like that for the last few days. Yeah. Anybody that's a good pitcher has just not been good.
One caveat I want to throw in there. Let's say that the weather gets apocalyptically bad in the next 30 minutes and we lose Joe Ryan, David Peterson, Cam Schlittler, who is the du jour of the Sims today, and Carlos Carrasco, who I don't think anybody's running to window to play, so he doesn't matter, but it does matter for the Mets on the other side, where they would be, I think, a lot higher owned than the 12% we're looking at if it was pretty clean at the moment. I think the Wroblewski thing becomes much more interesting if you lose that, because then your other options are JT Ginn, Kyle Hendricks, Walker Buehler. Those are your other cheapies there. Cade Horton against Toronto, who never strikes out. Like, that's when you would get Wroblewski being somebody that I would actually like actively try to jam. So giving the shout out is not a bad thing. Definitely want to be paying attention to it, but like, that is only under the condition where we lose those 2 games in New York.
Wrap up Schittler one last time. So I'm guessing that's Skittler, Cam.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on him against Minnesota one last time? Because he is really getting pushed in there by the Sims, and then we'll flip the script over here to offenses since FanDuel is locking in 8 minutes.
Yeah, we know Minnesota is one of those teams that's going to strike out at a much, much higher clip going forward with no Willie Castro there, with Matt Wallner every day, with Cody Clemens almost every single day. Luke Keeschel is not really striking out now, but is going to be in the mid-teens at least. So I expect him to strike out more as we go along. And the thing about Cam Schlittler is he has a fastball that just moves. It dances. It's going to be a pitch that I think will keep him in the big leagues for a long time. The slider needs to come along for the ride eventually, but you look at his mix and you look at everything. And I mean, this Minnesota team with Buxton up top, it can be dangerous, but you get Larnach leading off today. You get Buxton there next. Cody Clemens is going to strike out, I would assume, more than we've seen. I mean, he's found a way to start to eliminate the strikeouts this season. It's the largest sample size we've had for him in the big leagues, 21.7% K rate, but he was north of a 25% K rate guy for his career up until this point. So I do expect him playing almost every single day because, like, you have to think that he's getting tailor-made put into certain matchups because of playing alongside Willie Castro, who had, dominated second base forever. And now Clemens, we're going to move him around and make other things work because Luke Keeschel is going to be our second baseman of the future. So Cody Clemens playing first today. There's just a lot more strikeouts up top when you look at this lineup. And then with Schlittler, I think we're going to see some massive strikeout upside from him. And he's a little bit under-owned here, sub 30% on a very small slate against a Minnesota team that should whiff a lot.
The reason I wanted to make sure is because I've got him in 3 of my 6 handbelt lineups. I got Hunter or single lineup Sims, 2 of Hunter Brown and 1 of Logan Gilbert. And I was not expecting him to keep getting shoved in there.
One thing too, because it's 6 minutes before lock on FanDuel. Do you have a favorite FanDuel stack?
I think, yes, I do. So I think we look to the West Sacramento game, go both sides of that one.
Yes.
Now it's going to be cooler. It's going to be in the upper 70s going into around mid 70s. That's a solid 10 degrees cooler than what we've seen for the last couple of weeks. Still has that light breeze going to the outfield, but the pitchers are not particularly trustworthy. We'll say it that way. And they've had some decent pitchers. And the other thing that threw me off, the first game of the series, everybody did well against the bullpens, right? Yep. I'm like, I kind of like the pitchers. Do I want to do this? And then they got it done versus the bullpens with one team in each game. But JT Ginn tonight, load him up. Drew Rasmussen, not in this park, not in Steinbrenner Park. Yes, in Tropicana Field, but that's not an option.
Yeah, I did a price play on a couple of different things. So I look at the betting streets. Obviously, everything is price probability. Those are the 2 things you're always factoring into every decision. And so there's a plus 650 out there on what's his face on Josh Naylor there for Seattle. But Seattle is not really a team. I have a lot more respect for Trevor Rogers here in this spot, and I'm probably going to just be sticking away from the fact that Seattle is one of those teams that's showing up quite a bit on the FanDuel side of things. I get it. It's a game that isn't on the DK slate, so maybe you want to get cute and force something in there. I really don't find anything interesting about Logan Gilbert and Trevor Rogers attacking either of them. My favorite slate by far, or my favorite stack by far on FanDuel is Tampa Bay against JT Ginn. Just not a very good major league pitcher. And you get a guy who strikes out righties at a huge clip, 33.1%, and then lefties 17.8% with a 287 ISO allowed. We're talking ridiculous opportunity for Brandon Lau, for Josh Lowe, for pretty much anybody from the left side. And then your righties are pretty damn good too when you factor in that it's going to be Junior Caminero. But I want to see this Tampa Bay lineup, and right now we're still sitting here waiting on it. So I think that's an opportunity to potentially get something that's a little bit cuter over on FanDuel here, up before lock. And the Dodgers also a team that isn't out yet, and you can't play Otani on DK. So I really like the idea of getting some exposure if you're playing both sites like I am today, getting Otani or getting some Dodgers into your lineups as well, going up against Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks has been one of those old geezer. I always say it's like he's the old man at the Y playing basketball. He just knows the game. He kind of pitches around certain things, doesn't really get himself in a ton of trouble. And that's fun from a betting perspective. It's not fun from a DFS perspective to have a guy limiting power, but the power is so unbelievable with guys like Otani and Max Muncy that I really want to get some exposure over there on FanDuel as well. And the Mets would be a stack I'd play a ton of on both sites. And FanDuel, the main reason they're not going to be there is just we obviously are sitting here waiting on this weather. So those are my three favorites, and wanted to throw those out before lock in 3 minutes.
I did end up stacking 2 of my 6 with Seattle. One I did with Gilbert and one I did without. So slightly different take on you, but it was very specific. It was very specific, the usual 4 at the top there with Arozarena, Rowley. Why am I blanking?
Julio.
I didn't play Naylor.
Julio.
There's the easy way to say it. Julio. Yeah.
Again, plus 650 was the number, and I was able to get Profit X. There was somebody who sniped a plus 700 on Josh Naylor, and I totally get that there are a bunch of lefty opportunities. But like Baltimore, you'll also get 2 at-bats against the pen, and that's a great opportunity considering, Cano is no longer there for Baltimore. He got traded at the deadline, and they have a couple of lefties in there. They're terrible. They're horrendous lefties in Baltimore's pen. So if they do utilize them there, it's still a good opportunity for Josh Naylor, I think, to potentially go yard at that kind of a price. But I kind of look at Seattle as a team that I wish I could get to on a slate like this, where they're going to be really low owned, and I'm still having a tough time pulling the trigger in one lineup.
All right, real quick, before we talk more on the stacks, take a beat and talk DraftKings and the crossover with FanDuel, we got to mention the Portfolio EV. That is free if you have not yet signed up. In the YouTube description below us, there is a link. Click on that link. It will ask you for an email. If that email is not already created a paid account, you will get a 7-day free account here with Portfolio EV. It is our top-down sports wagering model. It is also associated with Tails. Those are separate packages, but that's part of the platform. And even better, on top of all of it, it helps you with the pick'em sites, which is important. So someone like me in Florida who has Hard Rock and Hard Rock only, plus the pick'em sites and the social sites, it lets me know when they are not profitable wagers to be going after on Hard Rock. Because if Lindy and Greg and Aton are getting out their good picks for us, and I want to go bet them, and I can see, wow, my plus whatever is a negative ROI, I don't want to bet that. That's a silly wager. Saving that money, keeping that powder dry is important because football's right around the corner, and there's going to be a gazillion bets we can look to for football, even in states limited like mine. That is Portfolio EV. All right, my FanDuel is uploaded. They hit lock. I'm good to go. This is a fun day. I'm
going to be known too. I just talked through that. My 3 favorite stacks on FanDuel would have been Minnesota, New York, and Atlanta. They're all 3 in those weather spots. And I just don't think it's worth it for me to fire them up. So yeah, I'm just kind of taking those out for right now on FanDuel. And, again, just playing one lineup over there. But otherwise, yeah, it would have been a slam to play some of those spots. I'm just I'm going to sit here and wait with everybody else. I have more volume on DK, so I'm just kind of focused on that.
That's what makes sense. Speaking of DK, you guys haven't checked out their best ball. Everybody who does a best ball entry also gets another best ball entry free in their $20 flagship contest. 3 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can get Chris Baggs on this very channel doing live drafts, giving his thoughts. He has been doing best ball content for 5 or 6 years now. He does have a solid track record of success, and he talks through why he's picking certain players or why not, or who he's hoping slides or didn't slide. He gives you a great analysis along with the overall strategy, but with player takes as well. And you guys can ask questions in the chat because there's usually only 50 or so people watching, so he can get to your questions because best ball drafts take like 45 minutes to an hour. So check that out. All right, we hit who. Let's hit on a team or two we haven't mentioned in these various crossovers here. We sort of bypassed the Cubs and the Jays. Do you have strong feelings about either of the four corners for this? Cade Horton going against a Toronto team that does not strike out against righties or lefties. And then you've got Kevin Gausman against the vaunted Chicago Cubs offense that has not been as consistent as one would expect with all of the green that we see across their lefty-righty splits.
I'm just trying to decide. I'm taking New York out of my pool.
Oh,
I'm having a tough time right now. So who did you ask about?
Is there anything good in the Chicago at Toronto game, since that is one we really
on? So Chicago-Toronto is interesting because Kevin Gausman is going to be pulling ownership, and I'm kind of inclined to take some shots on Chicago. We know the speed-power combination. It hasn't been pretty whatsoever, but I do not really want to play like a chalky Kevin Gausman, and he's probably going to end up getting steamed up if the weather ends up getting reported to be as bad as what it looks like to me right now. Boy, this sucks. This is literally the worst weather slate we've had in a long time, and I'm just kind of having a tough time managing everything here at once. But Gausman will give up lefty power. PCA is 3 for his last 37 with like 14 strikeouts. It's been brutality for the guy who's near and dear to my heart. Been an unbelievable season, but since the All-Star break, whatever he did during the All-Star break, he should never do it again. I'm not sure if he went to Cabo. I'm not sure if he, was enjoying the nightlife, but maybe don't do that because you suck at baseball at the moment and we need you to not suck at baseball. You're not going to win MVP anymore. So that's kind of a moot point, but Cade Horton on the other side, I think there's going to be righty power to be had. I bet Bo Bichette already. And I look at Toronto as kind of like a sneaky stack on this slate, but can't really get to them with some of the other considerations we have for full stacks. More of like one-offs for me, but a 251 expected ISO is a lot higher than the 160 ISO that we get from Cade Horton. So people with their spreadsheets, people firing this up every single day, you get that kind of a difference between expected numbers and the actual numbers. I love those kind of betting opportunities because I think it's an opportunity to be early to the party on numbers that haven't necessarily adjusted. They kind of adjust to what does happen as opposed to what should have happened. And I always love those. So pay attention to that a lot more. But 251 expected ISO is way up there for Cade Horton against righties. And that's a 560 pitch sample, not exactly a 0 pitch sample for him.
All right. For those wondering, I was looking at some of the weather. It looks like everybody's favorite weatherman thinks these are going to play. That does not mean we are not without double negatives. There is still risk. It is Mother Nature. Mother Nature does what she wants. But I would say 20% chance it goes sideways for us. And then in those situations, you have to think, how angry are you going to be if the game doesn't play?
Well,
that needs to be
the hard part is that it's only 6 games on the DK slate.
Yes.
It's on FanDuel, so it's not as egregious on FanDuel where you have 2 other games early on here that we can kind of slide in and, that just went. But with just 6 games, if you remove 33% of the slate, it's just insane. Absolutely insane.
Yep, it is quite
freaking out, man. New York plays, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know shit about fuck. I'm paying attention. I'm literally just doing my job, trying to give people good information. And it's very, very important when you're talking about a 6-game slate. If this was a 14-game slate, who gives
you take them out and you move on. It's not that
exactly.
big of a deal.
Or you just be like, all right, I'll play 10% Cam Schlittler. He's a high upside option. I'll piece this together here. I'll take a couple 5-man stacks. But when it is this much, it is very important. We're not even remotely close to Paul George. I mean, the Paul George thing, from now until the end of time, there will never be more upset. Also, I had a lot more in play on that slate than I have on this slate, so I'll be okay. But
and that was out of the blue. This is not out of the blue. It's out of the dark gray thundering skies. So we're aware of it. Paul George, a moment that will live in infamy. That's your December 7th, my friend. Look at that. See, it still impacts him. Now he's thinking about it. He's gone to that dark place, that glorious really dark place.
He's drinking coffee too in the afternoon, like me. He had a rumbly with tumbly. Oh, Paul.
DK cash game pitchers. Hunter Brown and
Hunter Brown, and I think it's got to be Cam Schlittler as long as that game goes. Just gives you a ton of savings, and he's the second most popular pitcher on DK. You just kind of do it.
Easy peasy. Let's see what else we have. Let me do my last lineup here, but let's see if chat's got stuff going on for us here. Make sure we haven't neglected any fan-funded chats. Oh, that was the one I saw. Okay, Clint Leatherwood, your favorite. He wanted to know DK cash and single entry pitchers. Do you have a single entry lineup for DK?
I do have a single entry lineup. Also, I saw that he gave us like $10, so I want to throw it up here. My guy, Clint. I mean, come on now. Really appreciate you. And yeah, he's just absolutely crushing it over in the Prize Pick streets too. We've had a pretty good run there. Yesterday wasn't pretty. This morning I had 2 cards that, I split exposure. I can only play 5 per card now on those, which is just a joke. Except for when they have a promotion, apparently it unblocks and allows me to play up to $20 or $25 depending on the promotion. But
really,
yeah, it's been weird. Like the promos, I get more leash, but I had a $5 Flex Friday, so also that was the end of life.
Yeah.
Shout out Nightbot for sure. I do really think, as far as like for tournaments, it's going to depend on what I decide to do in the end with this New York situation. I'll go Hunter Brown. God, this is just so awful. And I'll say Drew Rasmussen. We haven't even talked about Drew Rasmussen, but workload's back. If for some reason, if somehow, some way, shape, or form, Drew Rasmussen gets up over 85 pitches, he's just a good major league pitcher. And I think if we do lose some of these other games, he's just kind of like a reliable arm that I don't think he's going to go out there and get shelled even in this AAA ballpark. He literally has been pitching in a AAA ballpark every home matchup for himself. So like, this isn't some unheard of thing for him. I think he's actually a really interesting DK option to mix in. I'll say for single entry, Hunter Brown, Drew Rasmussen, and for stacks, Tampa Bay.
Okay. For those wondering, both New York games are officially in delay.
Yep.
Just looking here to see if there's anything else fun. Team I'm trying to get a little more of is Houston going against Walker Buehler as we maneuver towards lock here. But that has not been quite as successful as I had hoped.
Everybody keeps saying that the weather doesn't look that bad. And that is wild to me. And that the rain clears out at 8:30. And again, thank you. I'm glad that you appreciate it. Me staying apprised to the weather on this small of a slate is the most important thing that I can do for you, as opposed to even like giving you information. So it's like we're all playing today. We all want to make sure that we have live lineups. And if we're able to find any kind of an edge here by just taking it out, I will. But I'm just sitting here on pins and needles trying to decide what I'm going to do. And I do think the urgency to get that Yankees game in The craziest thing, the craziest thing, Emac, would be if the Yankees played and the Mets postponed to tomorrow because they want to go home early. Like, that would be insane. But I think it's actually live to happen to some extent because the Mets tomorrow already are due to play them. They could play doubleheader in the morning and then after that evening game, be fine. So, like, oh boy, it just looks so bad to me. I haven't seen radar look this bad. I just don't know what people are looking at if they just say, oh yeah, I can listen and see all the same things you are, but like, I just look at the Doppler over Manhattan and it is not pretty whatsoever. Eric, I am on tilt. It is what it is. Worshipping Thor. That's actually really funny to me.
Worshipping Thor. Is that a Marvel joke?
Yeah, it's like a thunderstorm. He has the hammer and the whole thing. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Mookie not in the Dodgers lineup. I saw that come through, but I'm so busy here trying to figure out what the fuck.
I think the Dodgers are still going to be okay against Kyle Hendricks. FanDuel, you can play Otani in the outfield, not at a pitcher. DK, vice versa. Yahoo, Otani is outfield as well. It looks like. Let's do a little lineup simulator here for myself as I finish up my Yahoo. I'm getting ready for. I see FanDuel did some sort of promotion. I haven't looked into all the details yet, but it does appear like they are doing some sort of cash credit back for their FanDuel Sunday Million tournament on opening day. So you guys want to investigate on that. Always trying to find those little edges to get cheap or discounts is a key way to go. We offer a few things here for you guys, including one of the coolest things that we have done, the Stokastic. I'm going to borrow the screen here for a second, Lindy. It is the Stokastic link join promotion here. So if we, and by we, I mean you guys, I guess I can do this too. I always sign up with the Stokastic links just because I think it is fun. But if you guys sign up here through the link join offer, you get not only the deposit bonus. Why is it not sharing my screen? There we go. Boo, get you off the stage. There we go. I have to fight you for control. 4 simple steps. Choose one of the promotions below. Sign up using our offer deposit. Place a bet. Take a screenshot of your welcome email and your first settle bet or pick'em card. Send that to sport@stokastic.com with the screenshots and tell us which sport you would like a single Sims 1-month package of. I can bet most of you have not signed up for Chalkboard, Better, Sleeper, and ARG. What happened to the Pirate one? The Pirate one's not on here. You guys missed out your chance for getting the Pirate pick. I was going to do a whole Pirate joke thing with Eric, but see, these move quickly. They come on and they go away. So check that out and don't dilly-dally. Do not procrastinate. That's your best way to get free Stokastic content, or you can rock the Stokastic avatar. If you finish top 3 in any contest, 5,000 people or more, no ties, top 3. You can be a 3-way tie for first, but not a 50-way tie for first. You will get a single month package of Stokastic Sims if you tweet the screenshot with your Stokastic avatar visible to Stokastic HOF on Twitter. But look, if you do this multiple times, you can get multiple levels of goodness up to and including a 3rd month that gets you all access Sims for a full month. Check that out. That is the Stokastics Hall of Fame package. All right, back to you, good sir. We have 15 minutes to go. Did you look at one last weather refresh? I'm sure you did. You're going to do this every 5 minutes until what?
I'm just staring at it. I mean, this has just been the worst. It looks awful. Show the radar. I want to see it. Yeah, it's called Google. You can get it. You type in you just type in New York City and high. Good Lord.
High res.
I don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. In the interest of like giving you guys information, Tampa Bay, that's going to play pretty clean. The Mets look incredible against Cookie Carrasco in the event that this is actually a thing that is going to take place. I would want to play a lot more Mets if people are as uncomfortable as what they are right now. 240 expected ISO against righties. That was the thing that jumped out. 17-degree launch angle. Pete Alonso, my favorite one-off of the day in the event that that's good to go. Dodgers, no Otani over on DK is a little bit tilting, but as you can see, they're the third highest owned stack there. One thing that did change, obviously, Mookie Betts is not in that lineup. So Will Smith moves up to the 2-hole, Freeman to the 3-hole, and Muncy goes 5-hole. It's a decent enough spot to play any combination there, but Alex Call does have a little bit of pinch hit risk. I know that it's right on right even to start off this game, but there's enough stuff that they can do where, if they want to bring Mookie in off the bench at any point in time, whether it be in the Rojas spot, which would be the most natural considering Mookie's played shortstop, and they want to, bring in Conforto for a pinch hit opportunity, they could pull a call for pretty much any of those spots. So just something to consider. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. This is about as difficult of a spot trying to decide what I'm going to do as what I've had all year long. So, and I have the normal amount of money in play for stuff. It's just simply, I think when you're talking about the rake in DFS, 17, 18%, this is literally double the rake. That's kind of the way that I explained it. It's like 33% of the games are affected potentially, and you could get both playing clean and everything I'm doing right now, you're just like, oh, Eric's an idiot doing whatever. Or you get the inverse, which is like Eric was so attentive and actually paying attention. And yeah, I think late start and play is probably your most likely situation. But we only have 13 minutes before we have to decide whether or not we think that late start could actually turn into a postponement for one or both spots. And, it's just... Yeah, this is exactly it. Google makes it look like a worse spot. Like, it looks atrocious out there. So I don't know what to do.
No, and these are good points. And I know people are saying, oh, we're belaboring it now. No, because this will be the biggest talking point of the night if it goes sideways. So I am taking a rarer approach and I am playing it. I have to live with those results. I did not take it out. If you want the most conservative approach you can do stacks from the New York games, but do not allow
conservative. I think it's actually the opposite. Like, I think taking it out right now is probably the conservative route.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, if you want to get it, contain the risk.
Right. Gotcha.
Don't do a bunch of one-offs with these players if you're going to get pissed about taking a 0. Only stack.
What happens if they play clean? If it plays clean, look at my screen. I mean, 5-man stack exposure, a lot of Tampa Bay, 5-man stack. Look at this. I have so much Tampa Bay. 41% of my top 150 in the Sims are coming from Tampa Bay. Houston, I think Houston looks awesome. I had talked about them earlier. I like getting to the righties. Walker Buehler, there's a lot of issues that he has at this stage of his career. I'm happy that he closed out the World Series last year. That was a great feel-good situation. It's not a feel-good situation. Having a 231 actual ISO and 220 expected ISO against right-handed bats this season. We got a 366 xWOBA for him to both sides of the plate. These are bad numbers. This is a bad pitcher. They faced 2 weeks ago. He got completely shelled. I think the most likely thing is he gets completely shelled here again. Is it still one of those spots where, like, I still would rather play them as one-offs? Yes, I kind of talked about that already, but like even getting down to Jacob Melton in the 9-hole has massacred AAA, like absolutely massacred AAA, and then gets called up to the big league level and has absolutely nothing in the repertoire, gets completely, he basically has like a negative 16-degree launch angle, meaning that like he's damn near bunting up there every time, but he's got speed and power. And eventually Jacob Melton, the number 2 prospect for Houston, is going to show out. Cam Smith was their number 1 prospect. He's been there the whole year. He's kind of, gone through ebbs and flows. Only 7 homers. That's kind of wild to see on the year for him. And Jesus Sanchez, newest acquisition. But like Houston, you can play just about anybody there. And I'm kind of like smattering them in between lineups. But I think if everything plays clean, I still think I would want to have Tampa Bay as my highest owned stack. but I would have a ton of interest in Minnesota. If I decide to leave this in, Minnesota would be a team that I know isn't showing up on your screen right now, but Cam Schlittler could end up getting steamed up, especially in single entry. He's going to be very, very popular. And I think that Cam Schlittler must pay at some point in time for just some of this power that he's been giving up to dudes. And we have tons of it at the top of this Minnesota lineup, especially with Clemens and Matt Wallner, nearly everyday players at this point in time. And that's literally what I already did. So why not just run 2 sets of lineups, one with weather games, one without? So that's kind of what I've been doing here on the side is I have 2 CSVs, one that's loaded with one. And you could say, oh, you could put one batch in, but like, then you're just doing what you would normally do. And that's kind of like splitting exposure to it. And, you know, that doesn't seem nearly as fun, but I want to try to capitalize on the upside of maybe the games not playing specifically because of how ridiculous that would end up being for like your ROI long-term. Like you just take the games out entirely. Like I think that's actually the more aggressive approach today because you're basically giving up the best salary saver pitcher on the slate in Cam Schlittler. And I think the best value offense on the slate, Minnesota.
I think that's a good analysis of it. I did not get to much Minnesota. If I was listening to you and Greg on the show, I would go back and rectify that. But I'm on air and I'm not going to change up what I've loaded. But that is a good call out for anybody that has not made sure they've done that, is getting some of that leverage stack. And with how much Schlittler is going into the lineups from the Sims, I think we're going to see more popularity than what he currently has.
I'm going to play it. I'm going to play everything.
Okay.
I'm going to play it.
I'm not jinxing you because I got there first.
I'm going to be so mad at myself if this ends up not coming to fruition, but like I'm just going to play it. Such is life. Here we go.
You missed my something. Sorry. Hit the wrong button there. We were ending the show.
We're not done. We're not effing leaving. Cool. So let's continue on our merry way here. What you see on the screen is going to be pretty close to what I'm doing here. It's a little bit different, obviously, with Minnesota. I'm going to play more Minnesota against Schlittler here. Otherwise, yeah, I'm pretty in tap with what the Sims are doing aside from that one Minnesota spot. And, you know, you play 70% Schlittler, 80% Schlittler, you better have some Minnesota on the other side, I think, with that last remaining 20%. So really hoping one of those two end up winning the day.
I can't. Yeah, sorry everybody. I hit the wrong button there.
Oh, you did? Didn't notice.
All right, you know, sometimes I can hit the right button too if I need to.
Please don't say that. That's really disgusting. That's like hearing your grandpa talk about sex. No, thank you.
Button. Who's got the button?
I hate you.
Good. My work here is done. Now I can hit the goodbye theme and be safe. We did not get to everybody's favorite thing tonight.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Lindquist. That would be the Dong of the Day. Dong of the Day. It's the Dong of the Day. Cha-cha-cha. Who you got?
This is the worst show ever. This is the worst show of my life. I hate everyone. I hate everything. Except for you, Emac. You're beautiful. God damn it. This is not what I wanted to see right beforehand.
34-month member, Ghost Face Kicker says, looks like the Pocky Clips in Manhattan. Is that Escape from New York? Or is that the Will Smith movie, I Am Legend? Which Manhattan Apocalypse?
I don't know. But Brandon Lau is going yard, my favorite bat of the entire slate by a landslide, 64%. I'm jamming Brandon Lau today.
That was who I was going to take. I will now take Junior Caminero because maybe we get a back-to-back home run here tonight.
Wow.
Ghostface Kickers. Oh, that's the I forgot about the Nightbot. Josh talking about hammers.
He loves the hammers.
Good times. Let's see. Oh, we're getting some home run calls here. We still got 5 minutes to go here, everybody. If you are looking to get those numbers away from behind your name on the YouTube chat, if you go into the YouTube settings, it's weird that you don't actually have a profile setting. It'll say your channel settings, but in there you can change your username. So I changed mine from Eric McPherson 7676 to EMAC DFS because I liked it when it just said Eric McPherson. But if I'm going to change it, I'm going to be consistent across the board. One last chance. You in or out? New York.
I'm in. I'm playing it. I'm playing it.
Right.
I'm going to be so mad at myself. It just looks so bad. This goes against. Normally, I would just pull it out and I'd live with the result of it. But like for whatever reason, I've been coaxed into not caring about the weather here, which is really, really annoying. I just want you to know how bad it looks to me, so that I don't get stuff on X because I cannot believe how bad it is.
I hear you. But there are other reasons we can get mad at you on ecstasy. Are you ready to hear some other people's dong?
I would love to hear about other people's dongs. Please tell me.
We have El Negro Loco 456. I did not know there were 464 others. Fortunately, we have Ron, which is the best iteration of the news god. El Negro Loco. Brett Shoop says a Max Muncy dong. New York Stiegel says Cam Smith. Aaron Hines going with Anthony Volpe. I'm guessing that Tom Olson is going with Matt Olson. I haven't seen his in there yet. Benny Tingman says Muncy. Ghostface Kicker. Are you going? No, he's just putting in all the sayings there still. Sean Sullivan, Soderstrom. Doug Dubs likes the Walker tonight. There we go. That was a short list. Oh, here's a few more. Ayo Kimbrough says Pena. Chris Williams, Chandler Simpson. Also, thank you to the Apple guy for gifting some YouTube memberships there. Those are the ways to go. Walton Horton, Cody Bellinger, and DeWitt DFS, Jeremy Pena. Are you ready for the Alex Bregman, Christian Walker battle of, hey, you have my spot?
Yeah. The battle of who could pull the ball more. Yep, that's basically what we're going to see. Hopefully in this situation, looking at my lineups, it is the Christian Walker side of it. But yeah, Caratini would also be pretty damn good for me. I have so much of him.
Oh, I'd like to hear that. He made my main Yahoo lineup. So
it's weird because he'll be going from the left side to start off the game, and I'd almost prefer he just sat up there from the right side with Walker Buehler's numbers, but whatever. You can't get everything you want in this life.
All right. And Sotex wrapping this up with a Mike Trout home run call. I will do the cha-cha-cha if Trout gets one tonight.
Oh my God, please don't.
This is fun. Now you're gonna know whenever you see me on the schedule, your power is gonna go out. Is that what I'm sensing here? Greg's
no, that would definitely not be the case. I would never do such things, my friend EMAC.
All right. With that, you guys got us a bonus 65-minute show, 2 different slates. Otani playing multiple positions across the sites, gave you the Stokastic Hall of Fame, gave you the Stokastic link join, gave you the OddsShopper Portfolio EV, 7 free days on that. You guys are all set. We're heading here into the NFL. What are we, like less than 30 days away? It's going to be fun. And then we're all going to be sick of NFL about 7 weeks in. It's just the way it works. And then it'll be basketball, right? Because nobody loses at DFS basketball. With that, you guys can follow Lindquist on Twitter at Eric Lindquist. You can find me at EMAC DFS. And of course, it is Stokastic _COM. With that, gamers, good luck.